Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyani. This morning I will just give you an overview of how this Meyiwa thing is rippling out and has even attracted the attention of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police. For those who might not know what a portfolio committee is, Parliament has got portfolio committees that play an oversight role on all government departments. So top police management, the Minister of Police and other top officials are accountable to Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police. The Portfolio Committee held its hearings on the 5th of March. This is just about 2-3 days ago. And present at that meeting was the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, and the Commissioner of Police, Fani Masemola, and other top officials in the South African police services. The Portfolio Committee raised a lot of issues around corruption and mismanagement and politically motivated decisions and so on. But it was really the issue of corruption that, raised a lot of, debate or generated a lot of debate. And a case in point is the Senzo Meyiwa trial. We have seen a lot of corruption in the Senzo Meyiwa trial because, for one, how was it possible that 2 dockets were opened? I have always said this is just pure corruption. You see, something was happening here because those police officers who were on the ground, the people who are doing the actual investigation of this matter. I've mentioned people like, former Constable Tapadim, have told me in no uncertain terms that, that scene was tampered with. No proper investigation was done. The scene was tampered with so that people could walk in and out of it. And as a result, we saw a situation where it was virtually impossible to investigate that crime scene. Having destroyed the crime scene, a version was then, cooked. Somebody then cooked a version that there were intruders into that house, when there had been no intruders into that house. But clearly the corruption here comes up in this manner. If there is one investigation, why should there be 2 sets of policemen? Each set of policemen doing a parallel investigation. We know for a fact that shortly after Senzo was killed in October 2014, docket 636 was opened. That docket, I've always said, lay dormant somewhere in some police station. This is the Vosloorus police station. It lay there unattended, gathering dust for a period of 5 years. And in these 5 years, it would appear that, there was a lot of disagreement about what had really happened there. And corruption, you see, came into play here. It was clearly a case of corruption. Because if docket 636 had disclosed that, there were intruders into that house, why wasn't that acted upon for a period of 5 years? Why was it just left unattended for 5 years while there was this other parallel investigation, the 375 investigation? So it was that 5 years later in 2019, Warrant Officer Makubu opened 375, right? Because people like Warrant Officer Makubu were never convinced in the first place that there had been intruders into that place and that the intruder story was simply a corruption story. It was simply a cover-up. It was a lie. Now, the most important thing that has to be established by the South African Police Services itself is who was responsible for this, situation of having 2 dockets in respect of 1 murder investigation. We have heard from Longwe Twala. Longwe Twala has talked to Malesela Tifo, and he told Tifo that shortly after Senzo was killed and people were returning from the hospital, a meeting was held in the Khumalo house. And Longwe Twala has told us that, it was general, I rather forget the general, but I'll get the name very soon. So a meeting was convened by very senior police officers, or the general is General Sibiya, was convinced at the Khumalo house to concoct this version of 636. Remember, they were told that, no, you are too traumatized to talk to the Vosloorus police station about this matter. Don't say anything about this matter at all to the Vosloorus police station, to the Vosloorus police station police. But I've always said they were not too traumatized to have explained to the same General Sibiya what had really happened in that house. And what they had told him was that there had been no intruders into that house. The fact of the matter is that no intruders ever entered that house, and the shooting is attributable and known to only the people in that house. So they were informed that they should not, they should not talk to the Vosloorus police officers, police station officers, because they were too traumatized. In the interim, then, this other version was cooked. So this is a case of police corruption because, the situation that we find ourselves in now is a complete mess. It's a complete mess. Because look at it this way also. Even in terms of Gininda's own version of 636, right? Gininda does not at all identify Kelly Khumalo in the initial stages of the investigation, right? Or one is not even sure whether, this business of Kelly Khumalo being the mastermind, at what stage did Gininda come to know that Kelly Khumalo was the mastermind? But he says he definitely identified Kelly Khumalo as a mastermind. But you see, corruption comes into play here because in spite of having identified Kelly Khumalo as the mastermind, Gininda does nothing to arrest Kelly Khumalo. A clear and unambiguous case of police corruption. Why would somebody, during the investigation stage of a case, discover that there is a mastermind? Somebody as crucial as a mastermind, somebody orchestrated it all, planned it, and even paid the people who are supposed to have killed Senzo Meyiwa, and do nothing to arrest that person, right? And even if Gininda wants us to believe that, well, it was a prosecution-driven investigation, so it was the prosecutors who ultimately took the decision whether or not Kelly Khumalo should be arrested. There is corruption here. It is either corruption in the SAPS itself, and somehow it involves the prosecution. But clearly, these are some of the things which the Portfolio Committee on the Police are concerned about. The corruption within the South African police services has to be urgently addressed. It has to be urgently addressed. As it is, we have people in the Pretoria High Court standing trial for the murder or killing of Senzo Meyiwa. But we still have another parallel docket, a live docket, right? A live docket that simply says there were no intruders into that house and identifies Kelly Khumalo as the shooter, right? This is corruption. How do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? Surely police management, Fani Masemola, the commissioner of police himself, must get into the specifics of this one, of how we came to have 2 dockets. And in the event that these people are convicted in terms of the intruder, version, right? What then happens to this other docket? And how was it possible that 2 dockets were opened in the first place if corruption was not involved here? There have been stories that there's a version that the gun came with Longwe there. Longwe brought the gun there. It was his father's stolen firearm, unlicensed, and so on and so forth. So there was probably a lot of people who were being, protected here, so that the real culprits, just got away with it. But the real corruption, the center and the core of this corruption is the opening of 2 dockets in respect of one murder investigation. That is unprecedented in the criminal investigation history of South Africa. It has never happened before. And I hope it never happens again. But here we are, the portfolio committee is concerned about these things, about corruption, and it runs throughout the SAPS. This is why, generally speaking, you'll find that people have ended up losing confidence in the police force, to execute their mandate or to do their work without fear, favor, or prejudice. People have simply lost confidence in the police. Right? A lot of criminality goes on in South Africa and never even gets reported because of that confidence deficit between the public on the one hand and the police. And I submit that the Senzo Meyiwa investigation is a classic case of police corruption. There is no other way to explain what happened here. This is corruption, period. Having said that, let me thank you for watching this video, and I hope to get some positive comments in the comment section. Let me hear your views about this. But I think some progress is made because this matter has now attracted the attention of, places like Parliament. Hopefully something will be done. Having said that, let me thank you for all the views that I'm seeing. Let me thank you for all the subscription that I'm seeing. Please don't skip those ads and have a beautiful Saturday. Thank you very much.